Good afternoon or good morning if you're on the West Coast. My name is Peter Robinson. I'm Strategic Account Executive focusing in on the PLM discipline for ChainSys. Today is the second of 3 webinars that we've set up, with Agile being in an end of support, end of life situation. We've talked to several of our clients to discuss potential strategies going forward as what they might plan to do with Agile and PLM and other enterprise systems that might need to be integrated. Last week, which there are several moving right now from Agile's existing on-prem PLM to Oracle Cloud PLM. And we did a presentation of that. Sundu, our CTO, will come in and do a technical demonstration as we did last week. So we're not just doing a PowerPoint presentation, but we actually have a live presentation for you. And I'm going to try to get to that quickly. So we do have that. So if somebody's interested that's in on the call on migrating to Oracle PLM, we'd love to revisit that with you as what we talked about last week. But today the focus will be on staying integrated with the enterprise with the existing Agile PLM. And so we have clients that have professed that, it's the American slang saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So engineering and sustaining engineering might be quite happy with the job that PLM is doing, Agile PLM is doing in its current state. However, the rest of the enterprise might be moving to other systems that are, modernized in the cloud. So how do we stay connected and keep everybody happy? And that's really what the focus on today. So I'm going to start with a brief introduction about ChainSys and our process, because I really want to get to that live demo. So I'm going to go through this quickly. We'll be able to distribute these in more detail. If there's somewhat of an eye chart here, I'm going to be summarize and be brief about them, but we can deliver them to you. So this is our 21st year. Headquarters in Lansing, headquartered in Chennai. We have a global presence in customers and offices and supports 1,000 people worldwide, 80 plus specific experts, 120 in Oracle, so SAP and Oracle. There's ongoing support engagements, 20 plus of those, and 150 plus customers worldwide. We're a hub and spoke architecture that is template based, and I'll touch on that in the next few slides, and Sundu will show you that live. But the intent is to have hub and spoke architecture that is no programming template based to do things like visualization, interconnection. We'll look in today, migration of data, MDM for data quality, etc. And these are some of the partnerships and certifications that we have, conferences that we participate. And the reason why I'm really flashing this to you is there was an old adage, and maybe I'm showing my age, but there was you can't get fired by hiring IBM. I hope you see that in us, 21 years and this level of experience, and with a customer example that we'll show you here shortly. So I'm just hoping to pass some confidence in the company. So some of your expectations, again, we'll pass this on for the detail, but I'll just touch on the high points, which is first, we want to assess the data quality in the existing systems. We want to be able to clean that data. We want to be able to configure the transformation between the source and the targets, and have them governance in place to make sure that rules are being followed that may not be in your current Agile PLM that need to be transferred over, but just to keep consistency. And of course, we want reconciliation and an audit trail. All of this as an expectation for 100% accuracy, quality, and speed. So how do we do that? We have, and we're going to sort of emphasize this somewhat, but pre-built adapters. So we have adapters that were already connected to your systems. The systems that you have, we have connections to those. We have data mappings to Agile, PLM, Oracle, SAP, all of these other, and other systems that you have. If you have a software system in a database, we've probably done it. And so then the no programming side over here that we're showing is to relate to the fact that even we can simplify this to where the business users might be able to manage the integration and the cleansing rules, etc. And we can talk more about that as we see it live, but it's a robust platform as a service for integration. To go further on that, where I was stating we've already connected to it, in this hub here, we have ERP on the top, so all the major ERP systems are covered. We have direct configurations adapter, so it's drag and drop configuration of the things that we need to do, which Sundar will show you. Down here, we this slice is too thin. It's got Agile and Windchill, but we cover Team Center, a 3DS, other systems that we've connected to that are in that. So what we're hoping at some point, if you have any of these systems that need to be connected and integrated, we might be able to invoke a proof of concept to make you the company hero by doing this. Again, this one's somewhat of an eye test, and I'll just summarize. What we're going to do is leverage our existing templates to get the data clean, to stay clean, to get that data into the hub for enterprise analytics. We can do the configuration with the no programming approach, which we're going to show you, which has full reconciliation and error notification all built into that. This one also as well, just in summary, there's more detail in here for you to look when we pass them along, but the source applications listed here on the left, we're going to establish the extraction. The profiling of that data has to be part of that process with your involvement, and then data quality to built in. In data management, we might be adding some enrichment to the process where, you might have TI for Texas Instruments in one system, Texas Inst in another. There's different variations of the data that need to be consolidated. So we can enrich that data. We can, in the profiling, make sure all of that transfers over so we have good, clean data. So Sundar's going to go through this, but this is a global, well, we didn't throw the name up here, but we can create this as a reference for you at some point as well. This is a real example of one of our clients that has legacy systems in EBS and Agile and Team Center, and all of these things were then, through the processes that I described to you, were moved over to PLM Cloud. Or again, if these were just left as their existing configurations, then they would be here and then as part of the integration. Okay, so with that, and with great excitement, I'm going to pass over to Sundar, who's going to take us live. I believe there's a way to ask questions through the process. I know you're all on live. We will take those questions to the end and answer those as they get typed in. But at this point, I'd like to move this over for Sundar to take us live.
Thank you very much, Peter, for giving a great start. And
my pleasure.
Welcome everyone to the ChainSys webinar series on the product lifecycle management. We're going to be focusing on the Agile PLM and try to showcase how it can be integrated in a seamless manner with the other enterprise platforms like Oracle or SAP or multiple, because when you implement PLM, you need to have multiple integration touch points to the downstream applications. So we'll take a look at that. I got an Agile system running here. Let me just open up the Agile system. So let me create, what I want to do is I want to create some a new part in Agile, and then let's try to interface that into the Oracle's cloud ERP system. And as Peter mentioned, this is all plug and play. When we try to do the integration, I'll showcase all those configuration models. So let's say ChainSys webinar item. Try to save this. So I'll put the same as the description as well. So you can see I just wanted to put very few characteristics, and then we'll try to see how we can integrate this with the Oracle's ERP on the cloud. So for that, I'm going to use our product App Connect. So you can see this is our App Connect tool. So if you go to the connections, so you can see this is a hub and spoke application. So you can connect to multiple different applications using this App Connect tool. and you can move data from one application to the other application in a synchronous manner or asynchronous using the scheduler, which is what I'm going to show you today. Okay, so you can see here the Oracle's Fusion application. So here is a connection, how you make connection into the Oracle's cloud application. So if I'm taking, for example, the finance cloud, and there is also the supply chain cloud, which is what we are looking for. So if I'm looking at the supply chain cloud, you can see all the process URLs, FBDI, UCM. These are all being used, and you can see here the data mart, which is kind of a very unique and very important, concept that we use within our application. This is very useful for validating the data before even the data is loaded into any enterprise application. So this kind of gives a chance for anytime there is integration data coming in, if something is not correct, we want those to be errored, and they need to be sent to appropriate people for making corrections, and then it is going to be, we don't want wrong data to get in. That's the whole point, right? So that is done on top of the data mart, and then only the clean data gets loaded into the target application. So for you can see the extraction, all the extraction components are listed around the extraction, and all the load pieces, loaders, templates are all available under the load component. And then interface component has data flow, process flows, schedule. I'm going to use a schedule, and you can also see the deployment where there is a configuration management system which is embedded along with this platform. So the entire software development lifecycle is built into the platform itself. So you don't need to take the code outside and check it into some configuration management tool and then bringing it back offline. You don't need to do all of that. Right from when you do the configuration, any of the object, you can check into the GitHub, or you can do it into the SVN, and then you can draw the same binary file back into the ChainSys platform. So let's go into the schedule. So scheduler is a great functionality where it's a Java timer, so which helps you to launch any type of process. For example, if I want to create a new process, you can simply do a plus, and you can create a scheduler for any one of these objects. Data object, for example, it is used for extraction of data. Data flow is a workflow which takes the source system data, transforms it and validates, and then loads them into the target application. Process flow is more, it has multiple constructs, multiple actions that you want to perform. So this is a more complicated workflow scenario. You would be using process flows. And BI predictive views, so henceforth, there's so many different objects that you can create so in this scenario, I created a scheduler, which I'm going to initiate the process. Okay. So let me pick up the scheduler name. So this is a demo. AG2 is a scheduler name. So I can also search the scheduler here. So this is a neat workbench which helps you to identify all the active schedulers, your own current active ones running on your name. And it also gives me an execution history and any jobs which has been scheduled in the background. Okay. If I go to the edit of this scheduler, so you can see, you saw the status is unscheduled. So I want to schedule this, right? So I want to do it. You can either do once or recurring. Once is just running it one time, which is what for this webinar I want to do. So if I put today, it brings the date and time based on the current user preference. Because let's say an user is sitting in Switzerland, Another user is sitting in somewhere in Far East. So still based on the whatever the time zone the user is on, based on that, this scheduler can operate. Okay, so in this time I'm in the East Coast, so I'm going to just run it on the East Coast time. So I'm just scheduling it to run, let's say for 2:49. So I'm going to pick up that time and simply save it. And then you have the actions here. You can simply go ahead and schedule this process. So it gives me all the, the initial parameters, which is going to be getting called for loading the data into the Oracle ERP cloud. So all of that is coming as a default values. I'm going to leave those default values. And now you can see the status has changed from unscheduled to scheduled status. Okay, and you can see it will automatically get picked up if I go into the schedule process. So if I see the scheduled jobs, so you can see recently, we have this starting next execution time is 14:49. It is going to pick it up. Right now the time is 2:48. So I'm expecting this process to get picked up anytime in a minute or so. Okay. In the meantime, we can take a look at many other interesting things, and then we can come back. I want to show you, how these data flows are getting created. Maybe I'll take a couple of minutes to show you the data flow which is going to get initiated here. So this is a very ChainSys offers out of the box mapping between Agile PLM to multiple other enterprise applications. Okay, what that means is you don't need to write any code for integrating Agile with any other enterprise application. Like if you want to integrate with Oracle's Cloud ERP, or you wanted to integrate with JD Edwards, or you need to do with the SAP. Okay, you don't need to worry about writing all those complex code and how to maintain them. Everything here is already predefined, and the biggest advantage for you is you can reuse them. Okay, here it shows me a warning, so you can see data flow already running, so it's not letting me to make modification. Okay, so there is intelligence. This is a source coming out of Agile, and then there is a mapper, so you can see the mapping as well, where all the fields which are getting mapped. So you can see the different columns from Agile mapped over to, in this case, it is going to the Oracle's ERP cloud, supply chain SCM cloud to be precise. Okay, so those mappings are all predefined, and then we have this is, you can see the fusion. There is a adapter here in this case available for Oracle supply chain management cloud, which we will see very shortly. Okay, so it's a very sophisticated and system, but also very simple to use. Okay, so since the process has kicked off already, and I'll also show you some of the pieces how we are extracting the data. Maybe I'll take one of this to show you that configuration as well. Let me just put that in. So this is our extraction adapter, and if you look at the load adapter, I'll just take that load adapter also. I'll show you how this is in a simplistic way how it is configured. Okay, and now if I go into the schedule, let's see whether this process has got kicked off. I'm pretty sure it is it should have got kicked off by now. So you can see the active ones. It is running right now. Okay, so if you go into the summary, you can see what activity that process is doing. You don't need to manually babysit any process because all the processes are running on the background. There is nothing any users are going to do, right? Only when there is a kickout or any problem, it is going to. So you can see it has picked up 2 records because I created just before this webinar. I created one, and then just now we created the ChainSys webinar item, right? So right now you can see the process is running inside the Oracle cloud, right? So if I go into the system, you can also see what are all the stages, what are all the different stages of processes which has been successfully executed. Okay, and the system is very transparent to show you also a very elaborate log file. So it kind of gives me all the information about what all activity it performed right from the extraction. How did the mapping goes, data mod, we talked about that. It's very special for you to validate the data even before it has been loaded anywhere. And transformation, very complex transformation, can be performed very comfortably. Okay, and you can see this is already initiated the FBDI process. You don't need to worry about creating the file format in a specific way. Automatically the tool has the intelligence of doing all of that, and then putting that file, moving it into the enterprise basically content management is also done by the tool automatically. And then even the error handling, if there is any errors. Right now the error handling is what is running right now, so I would expect this data is already been loaded. Okay, so I'm going to go into the Oracle ERP cloud. Let's go into that and take a look at this item which has been processed there. Quickly we'll take a look at that, and if time permits, I'm going to make a modification in the Oracle SCM cloud, and see how that gets synchronized back into Agile. So we provide both the provisions, a two-way provision for you to kind of move data back and forth. Okay, so which is kind of, we don't need to worry about, hey, can I move the data, synchronize something back into Agile? You can very well do that. Okay, it also doesn't need any programming. So important key takeaway for you is there is no programming. It is simple to use, and it is highly scalable, and it has been used in Fortune 100 very, very large companies very, very successfully. So you're getting into something more innovative approach to solve your data integration problems. So let me pick up that item. So you can see the product information management. I'm going to go inside that. So this is the Oracle Supply Chain Management Cloud. So you can see the manage items, and they have nice dashboards and all of that kind of good stuff. So we created something with starting with ChainSys. We go and find it. So you can see the ChainSys webinar item. Okay. So I'm going to open it up, and let me just put an update with the Agile, something like that. Okay, and here let me just do a save and close. Okay, and I created another scheduler. All the scheduler picks up the data only with the change data capture. It's an incremental data extraction, so only the changes which has happened from the previous execution to the current execution, only that delta will be picked up for processing. Okay, so I'm going to kick off that process also. Close this, because already this has been 2 records, and you can see the audit trail of all the records which has been processed. So we went into the system itself to review it, and here because we have a data mart, you are able to see, you can see there are 2 records, right? One is ChainSys webinar item, another one is demo test, which I created right before this webinar started. So I'm going to pick up the other one which is on the schedule. by now you must be pretty comfortable about the system, how to use it. So probably with the 1 week of good training from ChainSys, you should be able to navigate through the tool very efficiently. So if you want to, I'm going to go, this is unscheduled. I'm going to go ahead and try to schedule this process. So let me just put today, and right now it is 2:57. Let me make it very close, 2:58. Let me see if I can schedule it quickly. I'm trying to be efficient too.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
All right, let's see if I can make it. Why not? Life is a give it a try. So I go to the list, and let's see if we are lucky enough. So schedule jobs. Yeah, still it is 58 has not come, so which is good. Ours is waiting. So I hope this gets picked, and hopefully it runs successfully and brings it back into our Agile. Yeah, of course it picked up, and I think the process is so quick. You can see the active ones. I can see the summary of that process, and every execution has a unique execution ID, and it also has proper reconciliations, dashboards to see maintenance, etc. And it has already brought the data back. So if I go back into Agile, let's go back and check it out. So now you can see the description, ChainSys webinar item description, Agile update, which is flown successfully back from the Oracle ERP cloud back into Agile. So with this, I think the time given 15 minutes, I think we are safely, I think we are able to transfer data back and forth. Okay. That if there are any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer. I know I've taken a little bit extra time. I'm sorry. But I hope this was really useful for every one of you. And we hope we can meet you again tomorrow for the data cleansing workshop that we are eager to share, how you can cleanse and enhance the data out of Oracle Agile. And back to you, Peter.
Yeah, thanks. No, that was fun. So, yeah, of course, what we'd like to be able to do, if you see this as valuable, what we would like to take away from this is if this is on your plate, if this is being discussed within the company, we would be more than happy to do a simple POC, make you the hero within the company that says we've got something to do this. We can keep Agile, we can keep engineering happy, and we have a flow that can go back and forth with quality. One of the questions there was about adapters that we missed. Maybe somebody came in a little later to the meeting, but hopefully we've demonstrated that we've got ready-made adapters to all of the major systems that you have that we can integrate to. We can also address some of these questions certainly directly one-on-one. So I think we're at the top of our time, but I hope you saw value in that. I hope you invite us to a discussion about potential ways of looking at this, creating a proof of concept or other things that we can do to help. And if nothing else, again, we hope to see you tomorrow for the data cleansing piece, master data management, and keeping Agile, getting it clean, keeping it clean, which we will do tomorrow at the same time. So thank you very much for attending. Please ping us with any questions that didn't get answered directly, and we will get on them immediately. Thank you very much for attending. We really appreciate it.